Hi, welcome to Top Dead Center. I'm Alan Neighbors. Now, in your engine, top dead center is when the pistons create maximum compression and power. On TV, TDC is all about getting the most out of the motorcycle lifestyle and two-wheel power like this. Games Weekend Buffet of Action feeds cycle junkies every aspect of the two-wheeled lifestyle. And for those who live to race, there's $300,000 up for grabs. The flat trackers duke it out on the half-mile dirt track, and the road racers were busting their way through the twisties. Las Vegas's other strip was crowded with nitro-burning hogs and turbo funny bikes. And the skies overhead were crowded with aerobatic pilots of freestyle. Sick dudes. Speaking of sick, the 702 boys were there to entertain with their trick riding skills. And the Speedway guys were sideways spraying the decomposed granite. The Super Motard boys were fighting the dirt, the asphalt, and each other on their hybrid course. And the 125 and 250 pros put on a show on the challenging Stadium MX track. But amidst all that action, the biggest gambler in Sin City this weekend is Ryan Capes. The 23-year-old Honda rider from Seattle likes to gamble big and go big. And go big he does. Outside of the Knievel family, there's not many jobs like this. Capes is a professional distance jumper. A professional.
A lot of these guys say they're stuntmen or daredevils, but that's not what I'm about, you know. I take calculated risks.
He currently holds the record for the second longest jump ever at 247 feet, but he is consumed by one single goal, to be the first to jump 300.
There's a lot of guys that claim that they're gonna do this and jump 300 feet, but I call them all out on it because, you know, I'm the only guy doing it right now.
Cocky or confident? Just ask his team.
Ryan's got the skills to pay the bills.
So in his quest for 300, Cape's goal this weekend is to beat Doug Danger's current record of 251 feet. Cape started honing his skills at an early age, riding trails and competing in motocross, but soon jumping became his obsession. His first ever distance jump of 60 feet was a little rough. But he quickly progressed, jumping farther and farther, and on March 29th, he stuck the ramp to dirt world record of 247 feet.
On my last record, I was on dirt. It was up in Washington where rain plays an effect and it was super moist, and I got rear wheel spin, and today we're in Las Vegas. It's 100 degrees and we're on asphalt. So the bike's gonna hook up 1,000 times better, and I'm actually gonna get more top speed out of my bike.
To verify his speed approaching the ramp, Ryan relies on radar.
You don't have time to look down at the speedometer, and you want to look ahead at the ramp, and I have a box right next to the ramp that'll read off my speed that's just as accurate.
Jump engineer Brett Holloway builds the takeoff and landing ramps, calculates trajectories, and most importantly, he watches out for Ryan's safety.
I feel safer when I'm on the landing ramp in that I can judge to see what Ryan's doing in the air, what the attitude of the motorcycle in the air, and his approach. I can actually look over the top of the safety deck and see his approach, and I listen to what the bike's doing.
Capes works his way up by starting off with a few shorter jumps to get a feel for things. And as his comfort level increases, the takeoff ramp gets moved back 10 feet at a time. But as the ramp goes back, the desert winds begin to pick up, and at these distances, this game becomes a life or death roll of the dice.
That last one is just, my front end just dropped. Like I just got a gust of wind that went like that, and I just pinned it, and it was all like that.
Even freestyle star Mad Mike Jones doesn't like the odds.
It ain't for me. I would probably do it, but not in the wind. It takes balls and mine.
The wind is definitely a variable. We're gonna have to play our cards right and, you know, pray for no wind.
But Ryan won't leave Vegas without taking a shot at the record. "24 hours later, the wind let up, encouraging the team to get the bike ready. Ryan uses a brand new Honda CR 250 for each record attempt. He runs a stiffer suspension, a pro circuit pipe, tag bars, and Talon hubs with pro wheels and oversized spokes. After a few speed runs, the cycle of pushing back the ramp continues. The distances increase because of the design of the takeoff ramp, allowing for what Brett calls more pop.
In the past, the majority of the professional distance jumpers use a ramp that has less slope to it, and they hit it at higher speeds. I designed this ramp to work at slower speeds so that he gets more elevation and in turn equals more distance.
Yeah, more elevation, all right. Try about 55 feet at the apex, high enough to clear a 5-story building. And get this, he'll hit the ramp around 70 miles per hour and land at 40 miles per hour, losing 30 in the air, literally causing him to fall out of the sky. But the ramp goes back one final time, and Ryan goes for it. 237 feet, and it looks like all he needs now is a little more speed. A quick check with Brett, and it's showtime.
If you start thinking about things, you just get nervous. You really do. You need to stop and just go, I can do this. I've done it before. I'm going to do it again. And you've got to have that right mentality or it's not going to happen.
Full confidence, full throttle, all the way to the ramp. It's a new world record. And the proof is in the tape.
Las Vegas, Nevada, Ryan Capes, ramp to dirt, traveled 260 feet to beat his own record of 247 feet, and he did it in 4th gear.
I had plenty of room to hold my gear, you know, wide open to get the top speed that I need to do the record, and held it around 72 miles an hour, and preloaded off the ramp as hard as I can to give me maximum pop, and sailed 3/4 way down the landing and stuck 260.
But 260's not enough. The team's already planning to go for 300.
So now Ryan holds the all-time world record. Like, no one has jumped a dirt bike as far as he just did right now, ever. So, and that was 4th gear. So 4th gear, 210-foot ramp gap, 72 miles an hour, we got 260 feet. We hit 5th gear, and 84 miles an hour, we're gonna go over probably close to 300 feet.
But even with all this confidence from everyone around him, Ryan is uncharacteristically not in much of a hurry.
I'm gonna take some time and hold back and wait for some of the claimers to see if they step up, you know? Like I said, I'm the first person to 260. I'm only in 4th gear. I got 5th gear, and I'll be the first one to go to 300.
Now next on TDC, we test an Italian exotic, the Aprilia RSV4. Hang a SuperTech V-twin and a light chassis and rapid and exotic styling. The result, Aprilia's Mille RSV. The new RSV factory is to superbikes what Ferrari's Enzo is to supercars. Fast, sexy, a little bit pricey, but 100% Italian. Cycle News editor Blake Connor knows the Aprilia's appeal.
I think the guy who's a younger go-getter can appreciate a bike like this because it's a bike that you can ride the heck out of.
Motivation comes from a 1-liter fuel-injected 60-degree V-twin that breathes through big 4-valve heads. It borrows a fairing intake trick from the Honda RC51. At 7,000 RPM, a flapper valve opens, aspirating the throttle bodies with high-pressure air. At 10,000 RPM, it develops a peak 138 horsepower. 750 RPM later, you're at redline. A close ratio 6-speed gearbox and hydraulic slipper clutch complete the drivetrain. And it weighs in at 408 pounds dry, thanks to magnesium valve and clutch covers, lots of carbon fiber, and a very rigid, all-aluminum, twin-spar frame and banana swing arm. The result, an awesome power-to-weight ratio of 1 pony for every 2.95 pounds. If you're keeping score, that's 40% better than the Enzo. Centralizing the weight pays off in handling.
What Aprilia has done a very good job on is mass centralization. They've kept the bike's weight to a real center point on the bike, so when you flick it left to right into the corners, it just feels like it falls in on its own.
On board with Blake and the Twisties. The end game isn't stats, it's the experience. With an MSRP of $17,899, it's $643,000 cheaper than the Ferrari, and maybe a bit sexier.
The Italians know how to style everything, from the tiniest nut and bolt to the overall shape of the motorcycle. There's nothing that's stuck on an Italian bike as an afterthought.
And the styling is everywhere. Turn signals molded into the tail of the one-up seat, sculpted fuel tank, and a trick instrument cluster. Okay, it's pretty and it's powerful, but how about the suspension?
The thing about the Olin suspension is that it's just absolutely the best stuff in the world. Going from upright to a full lean position and then back upright, you can do it quickly and smoothly, and the bike is completely composed.
And the binders?
The brakes are completely overkill. They're wonderful brakes, the best that they're on any motorcycle right now.
With 170 mile/hour top speed, confidence comes from big 4-piston Brimbos floating in radial calipers. It rolls on 17-inch forged aluminum OZ race wheels with fat Pirelli Super Courses. In summary, it's an irresistible alternative to bland, mass-produced superbikes. The RSV earns high marks for performance, taut handling, canyon carving attitude, and sensual looks. Sure, we'd like it better if it was more affordable, but this gorgeous Italian delivers everything you pay for and more. Hey, welcome back, guys. Today we're going to begin transforming this 88-inch Super Glide into a 95-inch bad boy. And to do the work, I want you guys to meet our expert wrench, Tommy G.
I don't know about expert.
Oh, come on, you built a ton of race bikes. This guy even built a custom bike for Jay Leno.
Yeah, that was a big project. But today's project, it's gonna be a heck of a lot easier.
All right.
We'll start with this big bore kit from Edelbrock. It comes with everything you need. Heads, pistons, intake, push rods, cams, carburetor, and all the gaskets. Now let's get started. Our 2002 V-Twin sports a twin-cam 88 cubic inch motor. It's powerful stock, but there's so many speed parts available, you just can't leave it alone. Don't be intimidated with projects like this. You guys should already have a shop manual for your bike and the basic hand tools you need. The instructions that come with the kit will walk you through step by step. It's a good idea to organize your hardware as you remove parts. It should take a few hours to get the top end off. Okay, Now we're ready to install the big bore kit. The cylinders have been bored to accept these larger Edelbrock pistons. Now, compared to the stock 88 pistons, the 95 units are 3 7/8 diameter. A little tape on the stud threads will protect the new pistons from being scratched. Here's a really important point. After we get our cylinders back from the machine shop, we gotta wash them in hot, soapy water. It's very important to get all the honing grit off the cylinder walls. When they're dry, apply a thin coat of oil to the liners. Using a ring compressor and a little help from a buddy, slide the cylinders over the pistons and into the cases. The new heads are next. Compared to the stockers, Edelbrock CNC heads have bigger valves and tighter 72cc combustion chambers. And that's going to bring our compression ratio to 10 1/4 to 1. These heads also flow more air through these unique angular intake ports. Let's get them on. Install new head gaskets and bolt the new cylinder heads on. Use a torque wrench set to 14 foot-pounds to tighten the head bolts. Then, reinstall the rocker arm bases. The kit's adjustable push rods go in next, followed by the rocker arms and shafts. Add the rocker covers and you're buttoned up. This is a great place to stop for this week, but next week, our Hot Rod Harley gets even hotter with a trick carb, hot ignition, and 2-in-1 exhaust.
All right, guys, while Tommy's cleaning up, let me show you a couple of neat new products. Now, this is Cobra's new fuel processor. Now, it's designed to let you digitally tune most fuel-injected bikes after you've installed an aftermarket exhaust. Now, it just plugs into the ECU. These two adjustable pots let you tune fuel settings like idle and cruise. Now, they sell for $200, and if you plan on changing your pipes, you're going to need one of these. Now, nobody plans on coming off their bike, but if you do, this will come in handy. It's a new back protector from Joe Rocket. Now, it has a heavy foam pad with cells that absorb shock and abrasion to the spine area. Now, they sell for $89, and if you wear one under your jacket, you'll be a lot safer. Now, Joe Rocket is also known for style. This is their new Power Trip Supercharger jacket. Now, it's steer hide with a zip-out mesh liner. They fit great, and they have zippered pockets and sleeves. And they start at around $399. Now, for you guys into restoring classic bikes, check out this new reproduction tire. It's a 516 exact replica of what came stock on the old Indian Twins. Now, it even has the original Indian logo on the sidewall. Now, you can pick up one from Coker Tire for $95. Well, that wraps up TDC for today. We'll be back next week with a special look at all the new bikes for '04. We'll see you next week.